Dance is something I fell in love with right away. Like, I learned my first back handspring when I was 2. I was there at the studio like 35 hours a week, so it was my second home. If I could, I would still be dancing.
Allie's personality was really bright. I always like to compare her to Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. She would dance all over the place and was always singing and just happy, a happy child, even in difficult times. She started having symptoms when she was 11 and a half.
I would literally be in like crying pain by the end of a class. That's when I knew. I was like, this is not normal.
5, 6, 7, 8, go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
She was going to dance club, and dance club requires a really strong commitment. Physically, she just wasn't able to keep going.
I was losing a lot of weight, and I became very fatigued and very weak.
As a mother, it's really hard to watch your child be sick, especially when there's no understanding or answers to it.
Couldn't go to school. I would try to attend the class, and I would feel so sick. And some teachers wouldn't get it. They would have doubt in me and say I just wanted to leave class. I was constantly in a hospital doing procedures, surgeries, seeing different doctors at least 4 or 5 times a week, and I never noticed a difference.
So often when patients go in for this, the very first thing that a doctor thinks is that it's a psychological issue, a mental health issue, that it's an eating disorder. From the outside, the patient looks fine. They may be really thin, but a lot of people are thin.
Telling me that I was crazy and it was an eating disorder was probably the most damaging thing that I went through. I would get so frustrated because I was like, no, this is a legitimate thing. And I actually am just in pain and I'm suffering, and nobody really understood. Once you have been told you're crazy enough, I think you slowly start to believe it because nobody's validating your feelings.
I constantly was on the internet. I was calling doctors. I even have received 2 emails that said, that she was gonna probably die and that they wouldn't take her as a patient.
I would definitely say it just feels hopeless. You can't see a light at the end of the tunnel. It feels like the end, like the end of a story, and you're done.
And you went through that how many times, do you think?
I couldn't even count how many times I've gone through that. Way more than 20. Countless times. We believed that I would have my PICC line and I would just live out to how long the PICC line would help me live, and I would die on that. I was done and I knew it was time.
I remember when we went to Germany, we didn't think that she was coming back with us. And so, even Allie had come to a conclusion and prepared herself that it would be okay. Like, she was ready.
At that point, I was really good at accepting it because I had been suffering for so long. So I was doing okay with it. I think it was really hard on my siblings and parents because obviously you don't want to see a loved one pass away.
That's because your family had fought so hard for you, too.
Yes, it wasn't just me who fought, it was my family too. Especially my mom and my dad fought for me so hard.
When you actually find a doctor that will listen to you and that understands what you're saying, you feel this relief. And then you actually have hope that you can find the answers, that you can get better. We would just think, okay, somebody finally is listening and is actually trying to put it together.
I think that is the most correct term you could use, is invisible illness. I mean, you could look at me right now and think, she's so healthy, she looks bright. Well, I have a million other things going on in my body that I would die to get rid of. It's been like waking up with the flu every day for the past 7 years. am doing a lot better. I am able to function more, be a little bit more independent. Being able to graduate from high school feels so rewarding because I never thought I would even be able to do that. I feel like I can communicate with my doctor openly about my symptoms, and he won't doubt me, he will listen to me. I finally had hope. I feel like I'm constantly in a battle in my head when people aren't validating me. So to actually have somebody tell me that it is real made me feel peace and made me feel like I'm allowed to have these symptoms.
This has made Ellie who she is, and we have to remind each other of it as you go through those hard times. I don't know that I would have had the strength to do what she's done. I've just seen her really dig deep, and she's developed this beautiful soul.
I have gained this amazing perspective in life that has helped improve my mindset and improved my outlook on my whole journey.
We started focusing on what can we do to bring awareness, to advocate for vascular compressions, what can we do to help others. You start advocating for this to become something that can be diagnosed and treated.
With everything I've gone through, I feel like I have learned so much, and I want to take that and be able to advocate for people who have these compressions and have these invisible illnesses. It's hard to talk about it and be open, but if we just shared our experiences, the sympathy and the empathy we could give to each other would be endless, and it would help you fight so much more. Of course, I don't want anybody to go through what I go through, but to feel that I'm not alone is so validating. It makes me feel like if other people can fight, I can too. I will be battling it for the rest of my life, and I will be healing definitely for the rest of my life. I believe that in any situation, in any circumstance, you can find something to be happy about, and you need to live off of those small little things you find.